Welcome to Rants and Revelations with the Ambini. I'm the Ambini, and here we go. Today we'll be talking about moving from chaos to calm. 2025 really came through the door, knocking everything down, knocking everything off the shelf, and really just disrupting all of the hopes, the dreams, the goals that we had for this year. I'm not one to say like disruptions aren't necessary, but some of this feels like very chaotic, very overwhelming. It's really just tragic with all of the fires, the deaths through the plane crashes. It's just a really heavy time. So one of the ways that I've had to really restructure how this year has been looking and how I've been responding to it is through calm. Today I'll be discussing 3 strategies to address chaos through calm. Strategy number 1, unplug. I know all of us think that we are award-winning journalists and we need to be on top of every news story because we have a news anchor job, but we don't. Most of us are not. We're not journalists. We do not need to know every story, every headline. And I'm not saying that we should be uninformed because I really pride myself on being informed. You have to understand the timing of when you're informed. So for me, one of the ways that I'm structuring that is I am not plugging into social media first thing in the morning. For the first hour once I wake up, there's no social media. I'm totally unplugging. I'm totally not engaging with social media or the news or its screens or anything. I am allowing myself to greet the day. I'm allowing myself to engage with the day without social media telling me how my day will go. Strategy number 2, and it really coincides with strategy number 1, is quiet time. I'm not saying to just unplug, to just bumble about and, do nothing. And if you want to do that, that's fine too. But I think combining unplugging with quiet time is really helpful, and it's really been a game changer for me. One of the ways that I've been doing that is structuring my quiet time with prayer, reading scripture, and journaling. The first part of that, with prayer, I've been writing down all the things I'm grateful for and really getting a full gratitude dump out. Big wins, small wins, everything in between. It could be just one thing I'm grateful for that day. I'm getting it down to see that there is goodness and there is light, even in the midst of deep chaos. As a portion of prayer, I get out all my concerns. You know those concerns that you have sometimes where it's like, it's so small, it's not something you would tell someone. It's so seemingly irrelevant, but it's something that actually nags you at the back of your mind. It gives you a little bubble gut. Those are the types of things I put down on this list, as well as the big concerns, the headlines, the stuff that seems so beyond me. I get those down too. I'm really in the business of believing that God cares about those nagging concerns as well as the large ones. And I don't feel like I only have a certain amount of prayer points, so I can't use up my prayers. No, God, you're going to hear all of it. You're going to hear all the small and big things I'm grateful for and all the small and big things that I'm concerned about. So yeah, start with prayer, and then I pray over all of it. I pray over the things I'm grateful for. I pray over the things that I'm concerned about, and I give it to God. The second part of quiet time for me has been reading scripture. Once I write down my prayers and get my prayers out, I love to either focus on scriptures that address key areas in my gratitude or my concerns list, or I have been studying the Sermon on the Mount in Matthew 5. I've also been looking at the Sermon on the Mount mainly because in this time where we really need to be countercultural, especially as Christians, and have countercultural strategies for what's going on, it's been really helpful in terms of giving me very clear perspective on who I should be and how I should act, especially in these times. And the last way that I spend my quiet time is through journaling. After I have prayed, after I have read scripture, I like to journal. I like to get all of the things that are coming up, the things that I'm learning, the things that I'm sensing. I just like to write that out. I also like to use that as a way of writing down what perspective I have gained on maybe some of the headlines that have come up, over the last few days. So journaling is a great way to do that. And I'm now journaling from a place of perspective, given that I have prayed and I have read scripture. The last thing that I would like to encourage, and this is strategy number 3, is act. Now, we usually start with strategy number 3 with acting when it comes to chaos. We usually immediately spring into action when we see a chaotic environment. But what I found, it's really helpful to structure your actions from a place of peace versus a place of pressure. A lot of these steps and strategies build on each other. Unplugging, having quiet time, then acting. When you're acting from a place of calm, you will find that you are actually engaging with these external circumstances from a place of perspective and peace. You have now gained perspective to address things, and you're not allowing social media to tell you, girl, you need to be a social justice warrior here. You need to be an activist in this way. You really want to respond to all of the ways that you feel called to respond. You are very limited in how much you can do. So it's really helpful for you to now act from a strategic place of wisdom. I'm gonna pause there for a second. Wisdom really allows you to respond from a place of peace, and peace positions you for purpose. Peace positions you for purpose rather than pressure. Social media and all of this stuff that we're ingesting is a lot of pressure. It gets you going. It gets you wanting to get in the fight. And let me tell you, I've been wanting to tussle. I've been trying to get in these fights. But I'm realizing more and more that I need to respond from peace. I need to respond from a place of calm. I need to respond from a place of strategy. So I hope this helps. This is definitely not something I've done perfectly, and this is definitely something that I still struggle with, and I'm continuing to strive and practice. But I would say that in the few weeks that I've been really trying to practice this, it has been very helpful for me in terms of lowering my feelings of pressure and the need to perform. I think that's a big thing. Like, chaos actually stirs up in you this pressure to perform, but I pray that it's actually we respond from a place of peace and calm. Let me know in the comments how you've been responding. I know it's been a really hard time for many of us, and so just let me know how you've been responding. How has this year been going for you? And I pray we remain hopeful and calm even in the midst of all of this chaos. We'll talk very, very soon, and thank you for watching.